Growing up in El Paso, I was inspired by a lot of the TV that I watched. Wile E. Coyote chasing the Roadrunner. I swear, for the longest time, I thought that when he was holding the fork and the knife, that was for aerodynamic purposes. Evel Knievel, he jumped a shark. The Fonz, he lived upstairs from the Cunninghams. He was just different, man. He had a motorcycle, he had this leather jacket. He hit the wall, the lights turned on. It's something else, man. One of the shows that they had, he had set up 14 trash cans in front of the restaurant where they would hang out, and 2 ramps. And what he was gonna do, he was gonna jump his motorcycle across the trash cans. The potential, the reality that flying was within my reach. So I asked my dad, I said, where are the nails at? And he directed me, and I knew where they were. There was a jar, there was a glass jar, a mayonnaise jar with those gray nails, the ones with the swirls on them. And I went to the side of the house because I knew that's where the wood was at. And I started putting together what I thought would work. And this ramp was dangerous. This ramp was my first attempt at engineering this kind of thing. And my dad finally at that point had come outside to see what was going on. I dragged it to the sidewalk, and I brought my bike out there. And I was kind of surprised because he wasn't stepping in front of me and he wasn't stopping me from doing this. He said, are you really gonna do this? I said, wait. And I went inside because I had to get my pleather jacket. This bike too, man, this was the wrong bike for this situation. This bike was a banana seat, it was blue, it had a banana seat on it, and was the bike from Sears, man. It cost $59. It wasn't the $130 bike from Schwinn, made in America. And so I had my jacket, I had my blue bike, I had the banana seat, I had the ramp, I had my dad out there, and he wasn't stopping me. And so I rode, not to the next door neighbor's house, but the house next to that, because their driveway was steep. That was gonna be where I was gonna get the speed. And so I rode up there and I turned around and I surveyed the situation, and I could see my dad down there with his arms crossed, and I was like, man, now would be the time he would stop me. I was like, okay, here we go. So I go down the driveway and I turn, get that turn, and I start pedaling at the ramp. And I got the speed of the Coyote, combined with the speed of Evel Knievel, combined with the speed of the jacket, plus the speed of my dad, which was 0. And I was pedaling and I was pedaling, and I got ready and I got ready, and when I'd seen them do it, I saw them and they were standing up. And I remember my front tire hit the ramp. I got ready for something to happen. When something didn't happen, something happened that was not expected. The ramp laid down. I skidded to a stop, and I looked over there, and just a pile of wood, and my dad, and he said, that didn't go right. But he gave me a good idea. He said, let's try this. So instead of the boards being upright, vertical, like the legs of a table, we laid them down. It was much more reasonable for this time, and this age, and this bike. And so again, I proceeded to go down the driveway, and I turned and started pedaling at it, and I get ready to stand up, and I'm getting ready to stand up, and when I get to the edge of the ramp, it stays there, and I'm flying, and I feel free of the ground. I feel free of gravity. I have nothing touching me, and I'm doing it. And I come back down, and I hold on tight, and I hold on strong. I skid to a stop, and I look over there, and I can see on the ground, and there's a black mark on the sidewalk. And that space was about 3 feet, it was about a yard, that I was not in contact with the earth anymore. And I gotta go do this again. And my dad, he went inside to watch the game. And I don't know what game was playing that day. It doesn't really matter, because he's still watching the game right now. That was, for me, a huge moment in my life, because I decided from then on, I create my own reality. And this bike, and these ramps, and this world that we live in, it's not all the same. It's not just sidewalks and driveways. There's ramps everywhere. There's things that I can put my tires on everywhere. And even if my dad doesn't get it, it's all right, because I get to do it. Thanks. It's in my story.